Another important topic, mental ill health, 5.4. And to be very honest, because of this pandemic, because of this COVID-19, as per my personal opinion also, this is one of the most important area to be considering, more deeply actually comparing to before pandemic times actually. Because a lot of people attempted suicide during the lockdown times. Mostly people, they have a terrible stress and more angry mood and no entertainment at all. Everyone is locked, more eating habits. On the other side, obesity was another issue, and a lot of health factors and sectors, disturbed all the way because of this pandemic, especially during lockdown, actually. So in that context, this mental ill health, we can discuss a little bit more deeper comparing to NEBOSH theories. So I'm opening a question. What do you think? What type of mental ill health, you are observing day to day within your company? I'm not talking about the official staff. I'm more concerned with the staff working in several foundational roles, maybe the welders, maybe the painters, the machine operators, the people who are handling different chemicals in the warehouses. So, what do you think how their mental health is disturbed because of several factors? And if you are the safety leader, how you gonna evaluate that particular hazard or risk, mental ill health? What are the kind of symptoms or indicators we surely gonna give you the wake up call that you have to focus on this area as well? What are the indicators from where you can analyze and realize our company is facing some mental ill health issues? Not all employees, maybe some of the employees in several areas, but surely we have to focus that area. What is your opinion on it? How do you focus and identify the mental ill health issues at your workplaces as per your experience, your intelligence, the way you are knowledgeable, mashallah? Over to you, please. Yes, please. Mental ill health. What would be the symptoms which gonna give you a wake up call to focus on that area as a safety leader?
Yes, in my opinion, regarding this point, the number of hours the employees are working is a key indicator to determine, because this is kind of connected to even the outside of work hours, where employees need to spend some time or enough time sleeping and taking a rest and coming to work. But you mentioned and highlighted this a couple of days ago. Once the employer do not count the number of hours the employees need to rest and consider this, by the time this will lead to mental health and some issues for the employees. And in case there were drivers out of those employees, this may lead also to accidents and big issues. So from my side, I believe the work hours indicate if the employees are living in a healthy a place where they can mentally function well or not. Yeah, I believe this is from my side, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much. Anyone else, please? Okay, let me create a scenario here. There is a project and you have 5 team members, but that project required minimum 10 team members. but the resources are only with the 5 members, and the management, the top management, they just simply instructed you have to complete this project through these 5 employees. We don't have any other team member available. It's hard to hire. We can't hire from outside within Saudi Arabia. Even hard to find the right person for the right job in several areas. So you have to complete this project just through 5 team members. Those 5 team members are going to be overloaded for sure. So this terrible workload pressures are making our employees sick, but we don't realize. I repeat again, the overworkload is making our employees mentally sick, but unfortunately, we don't realize. The moment there is a crashing point, like maybe more absenteeism, maybe more sickness and sitting at home, and our project delays and customer is behind us, penalized, having fine policy for several reasons, and then we realize, then we dig out the underlying causes, what went wrong actually. And that moment we see, if a project required 10 employees, give 11, have a contingency plan even on board. If a project required 10 employees, give 11, give even 12. And then you will see the benefit later on, because on time execution of that project, more better quality and productivity, less customer complaints, or maybe no customer complaints, less chances of injuries or kind of incidents or accidents, because you allocated the right set of required resources. Otherwise, be ready, your employees are going to be sick, maybe under pressure, a lot of stress, and don't even believe on that everyone is emotionally intelligent and he knows how to manage the stress. People are really weak, they are sometimes over aggressive, sometimes over emotional. Sometimes I personally noted people are oversensitive as well. They're not stronger the way we all are, working as a safety leaders in the market. They are very sensitive. Like one of the gentlemen, he was sitting in my classroom and he received a call from his friend. He mentioned one of their third friend attempted suicide, and the reason was his supervisor just shouted on him, for 2 minutes, and he attempted suicide. So people are sometimes very much emotionally attached and so much sensitive by nature, and everyone is different. I didn't see, even you can also reevaluate, even son would be different than father here. Maybe similarity 10%, 20%, or 30%. That would still be a luckiest point if that much similarity is there. Otherwise, everyone is unique. Everyone is unique. Okay, let me claim everyone is a unique brand actually. Now we are the one going to realize which type of brand we are going to fit in what type of projects actually. That is why the value of right person for the right job is critically important. And we all, sometimes we read some golden words. Healthy body has a healthy mind. So healthy mind, of course, will give you better productivity, better quality, less injuries, less accidents, more better optimization of your processes even, because you have good minds, not the sick minds. A sick mind means more probability of accidents. You gave a stress to the crane operator. Look, even though we know the crane can lift only 10 tons, but the load is 11 tons, go for it. You gave a terrible stress to that crane operator and increased the probability of overall collapse, and surely the property damage or terrible accident could happen, because you delivered that stress. And trial and error, we can never be successful always, or getting shortcut, again, hard to be lucky every time. So sometimes we are the one as a top leaders, making our employees sick. because of poor planning, because of sometime poor allocation or dividing the responsibilities to each function. Even you can get some examples of your projects and see out of your 100 employees, how many are fully loaded and all the time busy, even in every second, for 8 hours or maybe for 12 hours, and they have no time for entertainment, no time to think that the life would be easier for them, because their job nature, the way you gave a lot of jobs to that gentleman, he can complete 5 tasks, you gave 8 tasks, and you believe no other option. And out of 100 employees, maybe 40% employees are fully busy, and 60% you will notice, because of your poor planning, because of your poor allocation of responsibilities, or dividing that load with effective planning, is creating terrible mess up situations. Someone is so much busy, the other one is relaxing. And sometimes they relax because the general manager is my friend. He's my uncle, he's my elder brother. So I'm here to relax. And this kind of unfair distribution of tasks also making people overstress, especially to our employees. And of course, the stress leading to the several kind of illness, including mental ill health. And ultimately, it will be destructive for our business overall, even for our brand itself. So let's discuss now how NEBOSH is guiding us, why they chosen that topic and put into their studies. Look at the numbers, guys. 440,000 cases of work-related stress, depression, or anxiety in 2017 and 18. That means 1,800 per 100,000 people are facing terrible stress, depression, and even anxiety. 239,000 new cases, incident rate is 720 per 100,000. 15.5 million days lost, average 25.8 days per case. Because your absenteeism will go up for sure. Account for 44% of all work-related ill health cases and 57% of all working days lost due to ill health. 57% of all working days lost due to ill health. That means more project delays, more penalties from the customer side, and less number of projects in future. And bear in mind the companies like Sadara, you are a role model, mashallah. And I'm sure you have a straightforward strategy that our employees are our greatest asset. If that strategy is there and inbuilt within your business growth strategy, you'll be having enormous benefits just because of that particular strategy, that your first customers are your employees actually. Then they will take care of your other customers. Now, what is anxiety? A feeling of unease, such as worry or fear, that can be mild or severe. Anxiety can have both psychological or physical symptoms. Long-term anxiety can lead to serious ill health conditions such as hypertension and heart disease actually. And anxiety is sometimes linked to the panic disorder, having panic attacks, and also PTSD caused by exposure to a traumatic event, and depression. So just because of one element anxiety, how many other kind of sickness points are attached in, just because of anxiety, especially the heart disease. Now, another word is depression, like it's a feelings of extreme sadness, despair, or inadequacy, or that lasts for a long time. Sometimes we say We have to be successful to be happy, but we never say that happiness is the foundation to be successful actually. If you want to be more successful, be happy and do happily instead of in depression situations or facing some terrible anxieties. Much better is to have some positive energy and move on. Yes, pressures are always there. If top management is delivering some pressures to the middle management, the top management is getting pressures from the customers actually, and that would always be there, but that stress kind of pressure should be tackled with more maturity and kind of best management practices. And that is why we always look the people who are emotionally intelligent and having strong leadership skills. And why we pay them so much money, because they are mentally strong enough and can handle several type of situations. Let's take an example of pandemic, this COVID-19. The bad bosses, the bad leaders are also exposed, especially in this bad time. And within this bad time, also we got a lot of new leaders who gave new energy, new life to the company. That don't worry, we will find the light and the whole darkness circle in. But still, we'll find the survival strategies and we'll be successful, inshallah. No doubt, we have to divert and change some strategies according to the crisis period. And several companies, even they were having crisis management plan or contingency plan or you know uh, kind of emergency response plan even, but they couldn't execute in a right direction. That is why they need them. And several brands you can list up and found online through research, they just stop their business. They couldn't continue. Now, the severity of the symptoms of depression can vary at its mildest, like depression involves being persistently low in spirit, low mood, while at its most severe, depression makes sufferers feel suicidal and that life is no longer worth living actually. That is why I'm telling employees as a human being, so you will find several employees, they are over emotional, they are over sensitive and sometimes over aggressive. But if you realize the reasons behind, maybe the safe kind of environment or positive culture is not well maintained within that company. That is why people are facing more anxiety, they are more facing terrible stresses and even depressions. Now, what is work-related stress? Stress is the adverse reaction that people have to excessive pressure of other demands placed upon them. Sometimes, that is the shape of your salary from the management, from that company, but expectations are here. It's enough. It's enough to make that gentleman more stressful, because 99.9% I would say people work for money, for bringing food on the table for their families. That is their purpose to do job in your company actually. But if you are giving them salary like this and the workload is like this, that kind of unfair distribution, of course, would create terrible stresses. And what would be the health effects? Psychologically, physical, and behavioral, and can lead to serious ill health if prolonged. Let's discuss what kind of work-related stress could bring terrible effects, like psychologically anxiety, low self-esteem, depression, physical sweating, fast heartbeat, high blood pressure, skin rashes, muscle tension, headache, and dizziness. These are the physical kind of consequences because of the stress. Now, behavioral, sleeplessness, poor concentration, poor decision making, mood swings, irritability, alcohol consumption, drug misuse, and also absence from work. So a lot of you know bad consequences just because of this stress, Now we can discuss what can cause stress at work. What is your take on it? What can cause stress at work, as per your opinion? Over to you, please. What can cause stress at work? Yes, please. As per your understanding, I'm not talking to bookish knowledge. Bookish knowledge we have a lot. We are already discussing. But let's share our experience, As per your intelligence, perceptions, opinion, and experience.
Yes, so one of the stress, that's caused by overload the worker, to give him overload of working, for example, to make him focal point for a meaning of many things, for environment, for IH, for fire, for the a lot of other work, with operation. So this will make stress and at work, and it will cause confusion even. This is one part of the stress, and there is a many examples. This is from my side.
That means sometimes the nature of your work itself is a stress. Overload is the second thing. Sometimes the nature of your job, the kind of job you have, like you are a rescue team member, or you are a firefighter, or you are a person as a first aider and always running behind to tackle injuries, but of course, the nature of your job, you are facing some stress. You are a welder. Every day there is a certain target you are getting, daily target work which you need to complete, and the kind of nature of your job, of course, already you're working in a danger zone, and accordingly you're facing some stress. Sometimes you're not knowledgeable, or not well prepared, or you're not the right person for the right job, but unfortunately deployed by the management, and that is why you are in distress, because you're not well prepared, not knowledgeable, and sometimes you're not trained how to tackle the stresses. Of course stresses will be there. We have to accept that ground reality. Might be the people, if he's not uh, good in stress management, of course he would be more in trouble. So let's see what several other causes could be there of stress. Like, first of all, excessive demands. Like I mentioned, your salary is this, demand is this. You can complete 10 tasks, company wants you to complete 25 tasks, and the time is same, 8 hours. And lack of control over work, that is another reason of stress. Lack of support, no coordination, no teamwork, no positive help to each other, more like a negative kind of culture where people mostly believe on leg pulling or backbiting, or lies for each other, and just damaging your goodwill as a professional within the same company. Sometimes leaders don't cooperate with you because they're the top leaders and they don't like you. You are not likable personality for them because of any reason. I noted several leaders to be very, I can't call them, by the way, the leader. Like, if you are worrying about the competence level of your subordinate, then don't call yourself that you are a positive leader. That you are worrying about, my subordinate is so much competent, and maybe company today or tomorrow can think that he is the right person for that position, not you. And you started damaging and giving him stress to leave this job, or to just be like a slave and consider you an immediate boss. in every aspect, not to do even a single task without your willingness or guidance. So sometimes this is how we don't support actually, or we avoid supporting to our subordinates. I'm sharing the ground realities. And some way or another, we all have faced, to be very honest. Poor workplace relationships, people are not psychologically fit. Maybe they are introvert, not extrovert. They don't want to they're not good in public. They're not good in team actually. Maybe they most likely love to work individually. They're individual players, not team players. You are the one going to teach him and guide him and motivate him and convince him that teamwork is much better than to be an individual hero. But that because of that habit, maybe the relationships are over, maybe because of professional jealousy, sometimes workplace or relationship is not in your favor, but that ultimately will create stress. That means a source to go for mental ill health. Then lack of clarity about an individual's role. We don't give them clear, well-defined responsibilities. And accordingly, sometimes we don't give them proper trainings also. Sometimes we give training, but training is not effective. Still, they are not competent to perform that task. But we, as a boss, already decided we have delivered the training. Now it's your responsibility. We guided maybe 55 steps to operate a machine, and we are expecting right after 1 hour training, he will start operating it. How come it would happen? Transforming 55 steps into positive skill set, it requires time. And you believe 1 hour training is enough to operate that machine, having 55 different steps. This is push button number 1, this is second, this is third step, fourth step, and you are expecting within 1 hour, he'll be excellent and well trained. Yes, you are well trained because you are working for the last 15 years or 20 years on those machines. But the person what you hired might be you hired as a helper, and now your expectations and demands are so high and creating terrible stress. Several ground realities we can discuss as a good example how things are moving in a negative direction, God forbid. Now, the threat of change and change itself. Threat of change and change itself. Adaptability to change. The people who were very much adaptable to the change, especially to the new normal, because of this COVID-19, they are still successful. Might be they are more successful because they are the change acceptor. They adapt the change with more energy. They take it as an opportunity for further learning, further development, and they make their way out to be more successful, mashallah. But don't expect that everyone would be like that. That is why whenever you want to bring any change, even as a safety leader, surely you will be facing some resistance from different areas of your organization. Now, staying in work, research indicates that work is good for mental health. This is another. The busy minds are more productive minds. If a mind is sitting idle and doing nothing, even that is not good for their mental health. That is why the research indicates that work is good for mental health, and that prolonged absence from work is bad for mental health. The employer should adopt policies and procedures that enable those suffering from mental ill health to remain in work actually. Because if they will go back to sit at home and idle, already they are mentally not fit. Now, because of this idleness, they will, their mind is going to be more frustrated. So more terrible illness, right? So most people who mental ill health problem recover fully or are able to manage the problem and continue to work effectively. Historically, mental health has been stigmatized and sufferers discriminated against and excluded from work. Work is often the best place for them to be. Let me mention here one of the important word, again, as per my experience for the last 19 years, This discrimination. Oh, he's Indian, I don't like him. He's Pakistani, I don't like him. He's from Sri Lanka, I don't like Sri Lankans. He is Saudi, I don't want to see him, in my department, even though it is your country, you are the one going to lead. But as an expatriate, as a manager, I don't want to see Saudis in my department. I only need my nationality holders, the same nationality holders. So that kind of discrimination, even I noted in the hiring criteria. We published the positions and only for Indians, only for Pakistanis, only for. So then if you discriminate, you are not going to create win-win situation, but yes, you are creating frustration. You are creating hate actually. I hope you got the idea why I put up this point in. And I feel sorry, to be very honest. Several foreign leaders or expatriates, even in Saudi Arabia, they avoid to hire Saudis. And that is terrible, to be very honest. That is not a positive leadership. One way we say Allah is Razik. On the other side, we believe if we're going to hire Saudis, they will grab the positions and our risk is over. Then where is your Iman? Where is your Allah, to whom you believe, to whom you trust? And on the other side, this is your country, the Saudis' country. So they are the one going to lead their country. Like we Pakistanis, we are responsible to lead, first of all, as a foundational corner to manage our country, not any other nationality. But if other nationalities are coming, that is our own decision to bring them and making sure they add value and, for a certain period of time, not for always life. And how come, let's take an example. How come as a Pakistani, I would stay throughout the whole life, even though Saudi Arabia is kind of our second home. But our country, our nationality is Pakistan. So our focus should be to progress our Pakistan. But once we are working for Saudi Arabia, we are serving them. So we should not discriminate in a way, like if I'm the HR manager or I'm working as a general manager of the company. Intentionally, I should not do such silly things, not to hire Saudis. Or if I hired Saudis, I should not create a terrible environment for them. So they should leave immediately or to complain to the Saudi government and creating messed up situation even for the company, And same way, if a Saudi is a general manager, he should not discriminate, He should not try, oh, you guys are, So that kind of discrimination is also creating terrible stresses. And we don't realize sometimes. I hope it will help you. And in Sadara, surely you will have no discrimination policy as part of your CSR business strategy, like corporate social responsibility. Into your CSR manual, surely no discrimination policy would be there. You can go back and check. Because you are a brand, you're a role model, you are leading by example. Same way Saudi Aramco have. Several ground realities we can discuss here, but equality legislation means it will be illegal to discriminate against someone with a mental health problems. And let me discuss here one more because I'm a very practical person. So let me share one more ground reality. Sometimes we think, these Saudis, they don't want to work, they don't want to learn. But as per my experience, whenever I get the Saudi students, believe me, they are the most productive learners and the fast learners. Because they know this is their country and today or tomorrow they have to be competent enough. But they will not focus if you are not giving training by heart actually. Let me be more straightforward. If as a trainer you are dishonest and you are not delivering training in a productive way and not sharing or hiding several important informations, then definitely Saudis have a right to not focus, because they will focus if the things would be in their favor, would be beneficial, and the things you are discussing with them should be productive. Otherwise, their focus would be somewhere else actually. So we have to think why they are not focusing rather than we start punching back. Oh, the Saudis, they don't learn. I mean, see 90% in Saudi Aramco, the Saudis are operating, it's a big brand actually, operating in more than 40 countries, serving to the more than 40 countries, the biggest, richest company in the world, and 90% Saudis. So clear indicators are there. How come we can claim that Saudis don't learn? Might be we are not by heart, by spirituality, we don't want to let them trained as quick as possible, because what we sometimes believe, if Saudis will be trained, no space for us in Saudi Arabia. Then what is your iman, So may Allah give the right direction to, because once you have top position, then you have to be neutral. You have to be positive. You can't discriminate. You can't create kind of a negative culture because of your powers. I hope it will help, inshallah, because today or tomorrow you will start your own business. This is your own country. And as a businessman, you more responsibility. It's not like always you will be doing jobs in Saudi Arabia. Because if I would be Saudi, maybe I would start so many businesses actually. Because it's a land of opportunities, mashallah. No, stress control measures, HSC management standards approach uses the 6 causes as framework for risk assessment, like we can assess. See the demand, the control, support, relationship, role, and change. This is kind of a standard approach. The 6 causes as a framework for risk assessment. Because as a control measure, we can't go for the controls until we assess. Until we assess the magnitude or the volume or the size of that issue, then we can suggest what would be the productive or best controls. No, the control measures, like for demand, reasonable demand, sufficient resources must be there. If you are demanding more, make sure you provide sufficient resources. And I hope you remember responsibilities plus authorities plus required resources is equal to accountability. But if you're not providing required resources or you're not providing the right set of authorities as per the allocated responsibilities, then don't consider the gentleman is going to be accountable. But once all resources are provided, authorities are given, clearly defined responsibilities are there, and you agree, then you can't give any excuses. Then you are accountable for that positioning. Now, control, given as much control as possible, support, we required information, instruction, training, and support. Relationship, yes, clear anti-harassment, another important topic, like bullying and shouting on people and dealing them negatively or considering them filthy creatures, God forbid. So make sure you have clear anti-harassment or bullying policies, and surely Sadara as a brand, as part of their CSR management program, surely those policies would be there. Role, clear job description, responsibilities and authority, and change, planning and preparation for change, communication and time scale. Make sure you allocate the time according to the nature of the project, according to the nature of the activity or job, or even the process. You can calculate the time also. Like if you have a stopwatch, even each activity you can evaluate. And when we sign the project like lean management, we start from the time management, we calculate the time of each activity. And those activities could be maybe 10,000 even, but we calculate. Maybe one process have 50 different sub-processes or kind of activities, and we will measure the timing and we'll see, we'll agree with the production or operation department, look, this activity is taking 30 minutes. We allow you 40 minutes. We are giving you 10 minutes, better flexibility, but more than 40 minutes would be unfair actually. That you are not doing your job honestly actually. So this lean management, even though it's the best technique for cost reduction as a cost reduction tool as well, The moment you start working on lean management practices, a lot of benefits you can show to the management. This is how you are making this company, your all resources, how efficiently are being used, and you are creating a lot of benefits to the company through lean management. That is another detailed topic, and we have sometimes 5 days training for lean management, sometimes one day only for awareness, and sometimes companies call just for cost reduction techniques. So we definitely discuss Kaizen management, lean management, productivity enhancement tools, green productivity concept, several tools from Japanese housekeeping also. So just to support that business and create some, and I'm sure in Sadara projects, wherever you see visual management, it's a kind of Kaizen management. If you see better housekeeping, or you have a concept like before and after. So it's mean you are following 5S methodologies. If you are taking maximum output from minimum resources, that means you are following lean concepts. So, but anyhow, this is entirely a different topic. That was all about end of module 5.4. We discussed what is stress and what are the 3 categories of health effect and result from stresses, and what are the causes of workplace stresses. Now we have another topic,